Let's get back to what is happening in the markets right now. Obviously, we have seen a reaction this afternoon to what has been coming out of S&P and also out of Brussels. Adam Bobroff joins us now from Foremost Currency to talk about all of this. We've obviously seen the euro responding to some of this S&P news. How difficult is it to trade this story right now? Because obviously we've seen a huge number of shorts built up against the euro. There's obviously a danger of a squeeze going the other way. It seems we live in dangerous times on this particular cross, particularly when it comes to the dollar.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting to see this afternoon euro-dollar moving up towards the 138 marker. That's where the Fibonacci level is, 138. That's really what we're looking for. I think it'll probably get fairly close to that and then look to rebound back. Interesting with Brussels and the comments out of there saying that they're willing to assist Greece, but they haven't really set the parameters for it. So no one really knows how far they're willing to go. And of course the problem being is if they go too far with it and offer them essentially carte blanche on it and say we'll do whatever needs doing for it, you've got to treat everyone in the same way. And there is no way that they could possibly put that policy through. So I think that this move on euro-dollar over the course of the day we've seen so far is probably overcompensated somewhat, and we want to see that back down towards 135, 136.
Julian?
Yeah, I think it's very difficult. I'd have to agree. And if you remember, the difficulty of the German position is that their constitutional court only ruled the Maastricht Treaty was okay on the specific proviso that in no circumstance would Germany bail out another nation. And so they've got into themselves into a position where they have to try and talk the yields down on Greek debt. But it might be a very difficult sale for constitutional reasons and also for the Chancellor to sell to her voters.
What would you make of the move this afternoon? Positive reaction from the markets?
I think it's short covering.
Right, it's as simple as that.
Short covering, simple as that.
But given the extent of the shorts, you would have thought you could see a bit more.
Maybe because there's not so much detail, it's a bit of, just taking some profit off the table. I don't think people would necessarily be piling into the euro because the euro at the moment is damned if they do, damned if they don't. And remember, it's good for exporters. France and Germany are quite happy to see the euro slide a bit. Of course, the Americans aren't, which is why they're siding with the Greeks against people who are shorting it. But in the medium term, just to be saying, a statement of intention, good intentions. This is not news. They've been talking about it for weeks.
I know. It's interesting, actually. Philip writes in, he talks about the fact that, ever heard of the story with the frog that is slowly boiling in water? This is what the game is being played with Greece. Let's talk about sterling. Comment in on that as well on the email. Are we heading for a sterling crisis? I picked up the papers this morning. Again, talk of sterling crisis. This afternoon, though, we've seen actually the cable pushing back up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for sterling, we always seem to be the scapegoat for everything. At the moment, it's very easy to point the finger at the pound. Brussels, of course, also pointing the finger, say that we need to get our house in order.
Or need to do more to get our house in order. Or at least something to do to get our house in order.
Absolutely, yeah. And of course, this potential for a hung parliament and speculation over that, of course, hasn't helped the pound either. From that side of things, with the hung parliament, personally, I think that the Conservatives seem to be going along with that point in a view that they want people to vote when election time comes because they're worried that it's going to be, well, everyone thinks it's going to be a foregone conclusion. So I think sterling at the moment very much oversold. We're seeing it push back up purely because, well, of course, out of the US, we've got interest rate decisions. Really a run-of-the-mill decision on that one. So very much expecting the usual thing, sustained levels for a sustained period of time on the interest rates. And that's why cable pushing up towards that 152 level.
Got to leave it there. Adam, always a pleasure. Nice to see you. Thank you very much indeed for coming in and seeing us. Adam Bobroff joining us from Foremost Currency. Just to say, remember that the announcement that's coming up this evening that Adam was just mentioning, there will be obviously an hour difference for the next 2 weeks. Effectively, we are on a different time zone to the United States. So just bear that in mind when you're looking at what's coming up this evening.